The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Junction City Rural Fire Protection District, Oregon, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33547. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting down at the front bumper, in the cutout, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. Moving just inside to the center, you'll find the speaker for your siren NPA. Moving up onto the grill just above the Pierce logo is where you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. Moving out to the side, you'll find your headlight cluster turn indicator, low and high beam, emergency warning light on the front fender area. Moving over the tire, you'll find your turn indicator. Moving up onto the top of the fenders where you'll find your air horn. Just inside of that location, you'll find the air intake for your engine. On the back portion of the fender, you'll find your release mechanism latch to tilt the hood. Located in the center of the hood on the top is where you'll find the location to install your hand for a grab handle to pull toward you and tilt the hood. You do have Michelin tires with Alcoa wheels. Moving to the cab itself, you have a latch with a keyed lock, in addition with grab handles for firefighter entry. Let's move down to the step area where you'll find the silver or aluminum tank. This is your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. That is the silver cap. The black tank right next to it with the blue cap is your DEF tank. Let's move underneath the step location. At all step locations, you will have perimeter lighting. Let's move into the cab. First, start with the keyed entry. As we move down to the driver's seat, you'll find Comfort Air Ride. You'll also find this yellow placard, which is the manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Junction City. This has the date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, and all of the fluid capacities, types. Let's move now just beneath that placard where you'll find the master battery switch. It's a quarter turn switch for on and off. As we move to the dash on the left-hand side, you'll find this black placard indicating a height of 9 feet 5 inches, length 29 feet 7 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 54,000 pounds. If you make any changes to your vehicle, please update this placard. Also within this same area, you'll find cruise control and headlights. As we look at the dash, we'll find from the top oil, water, and transmission temperatures. On the right, you'll find your fuel and DEF level. The next 2 gauges down are going to be the front and rear air. In the center, tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information above the speedometer. I'm sorry for the image quality in this picture. This is your filter miner for your air filter of the engine. Next to it is the ATC for traction control. Just below that is your Allison transmission pad. Let's move to the right of the dash. You'll find 4 indicator lights. First, pump engaged, OK to pump, and OK to pump and roll. The other is an amber light indicating your tank rack is down. In the center, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake, that is the yellow, and push to release. To the right, we're going to find the PTO for the pump, high idle, and alarm reset. You do have a digital readout indicating information on the right. All the way to the right, you'll find 3 additional indicators: do not move truck, OK to engage the high idle, and a green battery indicator. Just down from that, you'll find the mirror heat differential lock, also your regen information. I would like to point out to the very far right is the Pierce seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green indicating that they are in the seat and belted. Let's move downward from this location on the dash itself. First, we're going to find climate control.
As we move further down, you'll find 2 power outlets. These are barrel style or cigarette style outlets for 12 volt. You'll find electric windows right and left, and then you'll find a master door lock switch. Let's look overhead. This is going to be looking from the driver's seat over toward the passenger's area. Let's look on the left-hand side over the driver's head. These switches control the emergency master, lower zone, rear zone, and a siren or horn. Moving further to the right, you'll find the air horn, in addition with your PA and electronic siren. We're now outside midship of the area here on the pump panel. Let's start at the very top of this, indicating your number 1 cross lay, number 2 cross lay, and a dead lay, which indicates there is no connected hose to the pump. Moving downward, you'll find your master discharge. Further down, you'll find the pump intake. In between those two, it is a lift and turn latch to gain access behind the pump panel. Moving to the right, you'll find your vacuum and pressure test gauge ports. Moving up from that, you'll find the water level indicator, that is the blue module. All the way up to the very top, you have panel lights and several future switches if necessary. Moving to the right, let's talk a little bit about the pump boss. This is your pressure throttle governor. If illuminated in amber, it would be the check engine light. Located in the center, you'll find a digital readout for your RPMs. Moving further to the right, if illuminated, it would be red, is the stop engine. Moving down, the blue is the menu button, which allows you to scroll through the various menu functions. Below that, you'll find all of your engine diagnostic information. And to the far right in red, you'll find an audible silence button. Moving down, you'll find 2 buttons which are yellow, pressure, RPM. Those are your 2 choices, either pressure mode or throttle mode, with a digital readout for information directly in the center. Moving to the right, you'll find the throttle ready indicator. Just beneath that, when programmed, you have presets. That's the green button. As we move further down, you'll find the throttle and also push to engage the idle of the throttle. Down in the lower left-hand side, the black speaker with an outer bezel that moves. That is the alarm. If you choose to dampen the sound, turn right to left for dampening. And to the far right, you'll find an indicator if you've properly engaged your pump when you reach the pump panel from inside the cab. Let's take a look at your discharges. Cross lane number 1, number 1 driver's side discharge, number 2. I would like to point out a warning label here, pressurized hazard. Caps may be under pressure and be cautious while removing them. You do have an engine cooler. It is a twist, not a pull. As we move to the right, you'll find this job placard. This indicates the test pressures for 150, 200, and 250 psi, the associated GPM and throttle on the right-hand side and left-hand side. You do have a fire pump primer. That is it on the right-hand side with an indication for priming instructions at least 1,000 RPMs. Tank to fill and recirculating line, and tank to pump. This is the number 1 driver's side. It is a 2.5-inch discharge, red in color. Moving to the right, your large diameter pump intake. As we move further down, you'll find the plug location for shore power. There's a 20 amp shore plug. This is not an auto eject. You will need to unplug. To the right hand side, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. It's a female inlet. And then on the left, you'll find the Hale placard indicating the type and model number. Just beneath that, you'll find an air inlet chuck. On the opposite side of this location is where we're going to find the pump drain. And then moving to the far right, a warning indicating that only trained personnel should operate this equipment only after they've been properly trained and have read the owner's manual. Let's move underneath the step area here. You'll find the number 1 discharge. These are drains, and also driver's side auxiliary inlet drain. Also, under this location, you do have perimeter lighting. There are 2 compartments on the driver's side. Also located in the center, SCBA bottle storage location. Let's move with the compartments open. Let's take a look in the first compartment in front of the rear wheels. Inside that compartment is where you'll find your battery charger. When plugged into shore power, this will activate maintaining your batteries. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus. Starting at the bottom, you have your backup, turn, brake, and an emergency light. At the very top, there are 2 rear-facing floods. Just above the license plate bracket is where you'll find the hose bed light switch. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, you do have two closed tow hooks attached to the frame rail. Let's now take a look at the very top. On the right and left side, you'll find emergency warning lights. Located at the very top, you'll find the two rear-facing scene lights. Let's take a look at the chute now. First, at the very top, there is a safety release. That's the red handle. The larger handle is the open and close. You do have the ability to rotate the chute around the rear of the apparatus. That's the release mechanism for it. And then also to extend the chute away from the side of the apparatus, you do have a release on the side. Let's go ahead and start now on the passenger side. We'll take a look at the compartment doors. First compartment to the rear of the rear wheels, and then one compartment larger to the front of the rear wheels. As we move between the rear wheels, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location and also an emergency light. I would like to point out extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. As we move to the front compartment, you'll find LED lighting also in this compartment with roll-up doors. As we look now to your porta tank, this is in the down position, and originally we showed it in the stored position. Let's move now to the side of the apparatus. This is the midship location. Behind the pan door, we'll talk about that next. This is your equipment rack module, which is what powers the equipment rack. Beneath that, you'll find your large diameter pump intake, a 2.5-inch discharge, and down at the very bottom, all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. Let's take a look inside the compartment here. This is that door that accesses behind the panel. That's this door located here. It is a lift and turn latch to gain access, and you can see this gains access inside to the top of the pump area. As we move to the right, you'll find your powered equipment rack. We do have a danger here regarding remaining clear when it's in motion. There is an on-off switch with a green LED indicator that it's been activated with raise and lower instructions. There is a warning label here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing a cap that may be under pressure. As we move midship at the very top, you'll find your 3 lays, a dead lay, and the 2 live loads. Moving to the cab itself, let's look inside the cab on the passenger side. I'd like to point out toward the bottom is where you'll find a foot pedal. This is what activates your electronic siren. As we move to the dash area inside in the passengers area, and then as we look overhead, you'll find in the center push on and off map lights in addition with your electronic siren and PA speaker. This is the other release mechanism. There's one on the driver's side. This allows you to release the hood. Here's a quick shot of your apparatus. Congratulations, Junction City Rural Fire Protection District, Oregon. Job number 33547. If you have any questions about your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.